Discussion, so I'm not sure if anyone else is joining. So why don't you start with your introduction?
Okay, can you hear me actually?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
So I started my IT career like last 5.5 years to 6 years back. And in the beginning, I was like most of the time like a manual tester.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, I used to write the test cases and participate in test planning and designing. So executing the test cases. So different phases of testing things I used to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then later on I moved to automation
Mm-hmm.
using QC and QC.
Mm-hmm.
Then now in my recent project where I was like working in a research project, there most of the time we were means like same testing we are doing, but we are using SOAP services,
Mm-hmm.
REST-based web services.
Okay.
There also like I was doing again same test planning, then writing the test cases,
Mm-hmm.
executing them and all those things.
Mm-hmm. So what you were using for your manual testing? QC, yeah?
Yes, QC.
Which version?
Uh, 9.
Okay. And for SOAP UI, what you are using? I mean, for web service testing, what you used?
SOAPI, the tool.
Which version?
It's 1.5.
Okay. So what exactly you do with SOAP UI?
Actually, like in my research project, like they'll give the requirements. Usually, like they give us the patients. Like all the time, the patients and the doctors has to be in touch. Like whenever they want any information, so the patients can log in and see their details, and doctors can see their the patient's information, like
Mm-hmm.
phone numbers, emails, address, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So what we are doing is like we usually do they have like some like applications like web pages. So there they'll have like different information. So we have to do the testing.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, we get the requirements and we write the test case. So how we are doing is like we take the visual.
Mm-hmm.
So then after the visual, like we create something new like test suits and test cases. Then for that we add this data to source test.
Mm-hmm.
Then we select this grid. Then add the properties.
Mm-hmm.
Then we do adding the data.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever they want, like we have already these data files. So we'll be adding that data. Then we do like test steps. Then we give the SOAP request and get data, then data source. Then in the we give some like assertions like
Mm-hmm.
XPath, match, and so
Okay.
then we run. If we it's like it matches, then we say it's a pass. Otherwise, it's fail.
Mm-hmm.
For this also like give the criteria like means like we give in our like test cases itself like okay what is the passing criteria and all those things or failing things, so soap fault and all those things we give.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever it matches like okay this is the patient email address or patient phone number or their surgery dates or their recent checkups, all those things like okay we give the means write the test cases. So if it matches the data we give the pass. Then
Mm-hmm.
again we generate the reports using the log files and all those things.
Mm-hmm. How do you
So
define
that
wisdom?
That's web services descriptive language.
Okay, so what it does?
It will give the means like say like one page is just a particular means like what we are testing, like what particular portal, like what mm, yeah, whatever. That's what I know. Like
And you said you use
particular
SOAP AI, right? What does SOAP? How do you define SOAP?
SOAP is actually this is like most of them. It's like service-oriented architecture actually.
Then what is SOA? SOA.
In SOA itself, like it is so service-oriented architecture itself, like in that SOAP is one thing.
Okay. How do you define a web service?
In service-oriented architecture, it's a SOA, but see in that like they're like that's a SOA uses like HTTP protocol. So in that they have like SOAP-based, REST-based.
Mm-hmm.
So in the SOAP-based, like the tool is SOAP AI.
Okay, so how do you define? So SOAP is nothing but service-oriented architecture. You mean to say, right?
It is like means so SOAP is like we are using in service-oriented architecture.
Mm-hmm.
That is I want.
Okay, okay. And
Oriented
what is web
like
service that
any
you are
like
referring?
yeah, it's like web. See, service-oriented architecture is like almost like a web service. So for that, what we are using is SOAP.
Right, right. I get it. That is fine. But how do you define a web service? I'm not able to understand what a web service is.
Web service means like say like I'm not like say I have developed some function or some service, but you want to utilize that function. So I'm giving it to you. So using my functionality, you are making your application function that.
Okay. Okay.
Means I'm developing something, but I'm not like completely giving it to you. So you are using that service.
Okay. Okay.
See, like for example, like something like Walmart is there. It's providing the goods, so I'm going and buying it online, but it's not delivering it to me. It is like delivering through like either FedEx or something. So it's I'm getting the service from FedEx, but Walmart is using FedEx service.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Walmart is just selling the goods. At the same time, like FedEx, it will dictate the like terms or protocols or what. Okay, this is the way you have to means like do the things. So I'll provide you service.
Mm-hmm. So you
So
used
here that is
REST
service
and
oriented.
SOAP. Both you have used for web service testing.
Yes.
What does REST stand for?
Um, yes.
Okay.
I completely maybe.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Hmm. So you have done manual testing or automation testing with SOAP AI?
I did manual most of the time.
Okay. Okay. And what exactly you used in quality center?
Quality center actually like I used the test plan, test lab, then even the defect lab.
Okay.
Yeah, all those things we used.
Okay. What exactly you are delivering in your previous project?
Um, in my previous project, that's what they gave us their requirements.
Mm-hmm.
So we used to write the test cases.
Mm-hmm.
So we did the functional testing.
Mm-hmm.
Then we did even integration testing we did. Then in that again usability, then compatibility we did. Then even like reliability we did. Then localization testing. So like different types of most of the time like functional testing we did.
Mm-hmm. What is usability
Even
testing?
what's that?
What is usability testing?
Uh, it is like see when the patient like no Praveen, I cannot explain you.
Okay.
I don't know.
How about reliability testing? Okay, fine. And let us go back to your web service. Maybe you're familiar there, right? So you have used both REST and SOAP, right? So
Yes.
what do you see as a difference when you use SOAP and then REST?
Actually, like this REST is actually more means like it's faster actually than the SOAP.
Okay.
Because SOAP it will have like it needs like soap envelope, then header, body, everything, all those things. But in REST, like if you give the if you means it doesn't need to like have the envelope and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So it is more fast actually.
Okay, okay, fine. And did you log any defects in your previous project?
Yes.
So what is a defect?
So whenever like see we are writing our test cases and all, so they will write us like okay, what is the passing criteria for a test case? So we want to have some expected result, but if you are not getting that expected result, so then that time we log it as a defect.
Mm-hmm. So what happens when you log it?
So so when I like log a defect, um, I'll say that like I'll first I have to whenever I log a defect, I have to give some of the defect some attributes to the defect. So I have to say it's like a defect ID. I have to give first an ID. Then if I'm like filing the defect, I have to give my name and date. Then I have to then like whoever is like in what module I am like logging that defect. Then what I'll do is like for my means like they'll allot me a developer. So to that developer I'll assign this defect. Then I'll say it's like a new defect. Then the defect goes to the developer and he will see. And first thing is like he will say like if the defect is like means like it is okay to be in this module, then he'll say it is okay to leave it. Then we'll just say it is deferred, means we can do in the next release. But
So
if it
what
is,
all
it has
defect status you are aware of?
defect status means like you mean to say
So whenever a
the
defect is
priority.
logged, whenever a defect is logged, it has one status, right? And then when developer is fixing it or he has fixed it, it has another status, right? So I need to know what all possible status a defect can have.
Okay, when it is like whenever I find a defect, it's new.
Okay.
Then whenever I'm like it to a developer, it's like assigned.
Okay.
Then whenever he did like finished it, means fixed it, then I'll say it's fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes like he's not able to do, then it can have like could not reproduce. Then again like it's like reopen, and again I can say it's like goes back to the developer, the
Mm-hmm.
reopen one. Then again if he is like fixed, then it comes back to me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will test it again, and if it's fixed, I'll say closed.
Mm-hmm.
Or if sometimes the developer says it's like something, it is invalid bug, so I'll say it's an invalid bug. Or if he says it's not bug or something, then I can say the bug is rejected.
So when developer says it's not a valid defect, what status it has?
If the developer says it's an invalid, first I'll make sure like I have to actually,
No, you
whenever I'm
forget
like
about what you are doing on the invalid defect. So whenever defect is being said as invalid by the developer, what is the defect status? What happens after it
it's
comes to you
invalid,
is a different story. So at that point of time, what is the defect status?
that's invalid.
Okay, invalid. Then once it comes to you, what you are going to do?
Then again I'll test it and I'll see
Mm-hmm.
whether I'm able to reproduce it again.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So
two
if I'm able
cases.
to reproduce,
Two cases where
I'll
you will be able to reproduce is case one, other cases you won't be able to reproduce. In both these cases, what is the defect status?
mm, if it is reproducible,
Mm-hmm.
then again I'll reopen.
Okay.
Then it will become a, yeah, and reopen, and then again it will go back to the developer. Again means assigned. Again
Okay.
the cycle will come back.
That's fine.
Either it's resolved or
Reopen. Okay. That is one case. Other case.
other case is like you mean to say invalid, right?
Yeah, you developer gave it back to you, and when you are trying, you are not able to reproduce. So what are you going to do with that defect, and what will be the defect status?
If I am unable to reproduce, then actually it means it's not a defect. So I will close it.
Okay, you close it.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So where in QC you were
If I am
logging
to
defects?
reproduce, then I'll just I'll do I'll do the retesting. Then if it is not reproducible, then it's not at all a
Mm-hmm.
defect. So I'll close it
Okay, okay. So where you were logging defects in QC?
in the defect lab.
Defect lab, okay. And any idea about severity and priority?
Yes.
Can you just
Whenever like
walk me through a defect which you have
whenever
logged?
I'm yeah, whenever like see actually like what happened in the this thing, they gave us a requirement of this patient's email ID and all those things. When we are testing that, then like the patient, like they should have like login information. They'll have their own username and password, so then they can enter and see. So
Hmm.
at that time, like when we are doing testing for that page,
Hmm.
so the username itself, like when we are doing, it's not going further. It's giving that means we are not able to open it.
Hmm.
So that is I give the so like a severity, high severity,
Okay.
because the function is not going to the further.
Okay.
So that is high severity.
Hmm.
And at the same time, priority also high,
Okay.
because that is the main means like entry or for the patient to enter and see anything. So that is stopping everything. The functionality itself is stopping. So that is high priority and high severity. but once they open, they'll have like so many tables, so where they can go and check each and everything. So they'll be like, when is the last appointment, and then how many times they visited, what are the stay and all those things, and then billing activities and all those things. So in that, just one particular box is not working. So that is like they can see everything. So that is like not stopping any functionality. So that is, I say, it's not means it's a low severity. Even I can say it is low priority also. But when see, same thing, when the doctors, they want to see the patients all their information and everything, that page, if it is opening, but most of the information is not there, so I'll give like medium priority. At the same time, I think I can give low severity because the function is very good, but only thing is they are unable to open some of the tables. Hello?
Sorry, I was
Hello?
talking. Sorry, I was talking to myself. Sorry. Uh,
Oh,
you are able to hear now, right?
yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Wait,
So where
you
from
want
you are
me?
getting the requirement? No, I heard you completely. All the types of severities and priorities you try to touch base. That's fine. Hmm.
Okay.
Let us go to the requirements. So where from you are getting your requirements in your project?
Actually, like here we are getting our requirements usually in the morning. We'll have like a stand-up meeting. So there, as the whole team we go, but usually my team lead and developers and those stakeholders, they come and they'll give their requirements in usually the sticky notes they'll keep on the board. So
Mm-hmm.
my team lead, they used to talk and we used to pick from their, it's like usually like their user stories or something. So we pick those.
What is your
If it is
project
like
model?
very, it's agile methodology we usually follow.
Okay, what happens in your agile project then?
So that time, like my team lead, he used to pick that the sticky notes there with the requirements.
So what happens?
So if
Your team lead has kept 10 sticky notes. Assume 10 team members are there, and maybe there was a wind blowing in, and then 4 or 5 sticky notes are gone. So you don't do anything that day.
no. That's what. See, they'll if it is like no, if it is like a very big requirement,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, say like what we are doing every day, that is the thing, but it doesn't mean like only the requirements will be there on the sticky notes. They used to have different database, everything will be there, and they'll maintain their requirements and everything. For
Where
that,
exactly
they
they
are
are
used.
maintaining?
Uh, it's in the they are using a tool called Rational Div.
Rational
So
level.
there they'll be maintaining all the requirements, and so we'll be taking from there the user stories.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So if the requirement is like very big, then they'll allot like only one particular requirement, so that we have to like write all the test cases and everything, then finish. Like usually they'll give time like if it is very small requirement, they'll give us a time of like 1 to 2 weeks. If it is a very big requirement, we have to finish like 2 to 4 weeks the complete module.
What is your product backlog?
So Product backlog is all the requirements where they are maintaining the user stories.
Mm-hmm.
That is product backlog.
Okay.
So usually like every day meetings we'll have, but at the same time we used to have like once in 3 days and once in like 5 day meeting. So we have to tell them like how far we have finished our means like test cases and what level means at what stage we are and everything. So we used to have review meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So there we used to discuss or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And usually like what used to happen is this is like it's like a research project, so we used to get most of the time like every
Have
week they
you
used
ever
to add more.
encountered a spike in your project?
What is that?
Have you ever
Can
encountered a spike in your project?
no idea.
Okay, fine. Have you ever used database?
Yes.
How do you rate yourself?
I think 7 to 8 out of 10.
Okay, what is a correlated subquery?
It is like query and inside another query.
So query inside another query is a correlated. Okay. Hmm. Have you ever used joins?
Yes, to get the data of the
One simple difference
project.
between a self join and an inner join.
Self join is like we are joining means data within the same table.
Mm-hmm. Why do we join in the same table? Because we already have data on the same table, right?
Yeah, but we want like means maybe about a particular. See, in the same table, like we have like let's think like some 100 means like the names are there, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe that maybe one person is working under another person. So that person's name also will be there. So I just want to know like under whom this person is working.
Mm-hmm.
So then that time I can do self join and get the like some like manager. See, I
Mm-hmm.
am working under a manager and like a manager might have like so maybe working under him like maybe 10 to 15 people are there.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do join and get like okay this particular X is working under some manager.
Mm-hmm.
So like that I can get the information.
Okay. In an ATM transaction, okay. So what types of
Mhm.
testing you can do? I just ask you, I give you a
ATM.
requirement, go to an ATM and insert your
Mm.
credit or debit card and bring the money back, okay? There are a lot many scenarios possible in this particular requirement, okay? Alright?
Okay.
So
Okay.
because
Yeah.
card might be valid
So
or it might
I'll
not be valid or lot many things, right?
yes.
So
So first okay.
yeah, go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. First I'll when you give the requirement I'll just make sure the means the requirement I'll ask you like okay this is the requirement. So then what I'll do is like I'll take the requirement, then I'll do like means I'll plan means like it's like a test plan. I'll have my own plan like what to do and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Then I like my own means like before starting the test case I'll have means what are all the things I can means test on this ATM machine. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
just note down. then how like approach and like then I'll have something like means I'll think like, okay, if I do something, okay, this scenario, okay, this is pass or this is like fail or something. So I'll have all those things, pass, fail criteria. Then I'll start writing my test cases. Then, but before this, what I'll do is like I'll have a maybe, I think traceability matrix I can have here. So I can write down like with all the requirements, whatever you gave, I have to see whether I'm going to cover all the requirements or not. Then I'll start writing my test cases. So for the ATM machine, um, so you are asking me if I go to an ATM machine and I have my credit card and I have to write the test cases, right?
I'm really not asking for a product testing. I'm looking more for a software testing because for ATM transaction you really need not go to an ATM. So for your if you are doing a web service testing, you can just pass the arguments as a valid user ID or invalid user ID and then take it from there, right? You really need not do a product testing, right?
No, I'm just making sure like you want me to do write the test cases that near the machine or on in the like
I'm more
software.
interested on how the software is behaving. Okay.
Okay. So first I need
Yeah,
to log
that's
into
fine.
the
That's fine.
okay.
Have you heard about equivalence partition and boundary value analysis?
Yes.
Can you draw a line between these two?
Equivalence partitioning is like see any test case when I do like negative testing and positive testing. So that is what equivalence partitioning means.
Mm-hmm.
It's like valid and invalid.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be doing both. Means I'm not only like doing the valid test cases and I'm stopping. So I have to do valid and at the same time invalid. Like
Mm-hmm.
that means it's like both positive and negative test cases. But boundary value analysis, it is like if you want to draw like if there is a limit,
Mm-hmm.
like $1,000 is the limit. So I should go to the like 999. Then I should go like 1001. So that is like boundary value. So I'm going below and above. So I'm trying to write the test case. So if I draw 999,
Mm-hmm.
so if I'm saying like see
999
only
is a valid test case or invalid test case because your requirement says 1000, right?
yeah, if it is like exact means 1000 means it will be invalid, but up to 1000 means it is a valid.
Mm-hmm.
Then up to 1000 means then 1001 will be invalid.
So 1001 is invalid, right? And you are
Yes,
testing it in your boundary value analysis, right?
boundary value analysis. Yes.
So I still don't see a difference. What is the difference between ECP and boundary value analysis? There you are saying you test both valid and invalid in equivalence partition. And when coming to boundary
Mm-hmm.
values value analysis also you say you are testing valid and invalid. So what is the difference then?
Boundary value analysis that like I'm going to see like means how much it can go up to, means what is the maximum and what is the minimum, like that I'm going. So
Mm-hmm.
that means up to what level it can go above, means like see 1000 is there. So see valid and invalid, like if I give like 999, it will take, that is a valid. If it is
Mm-hmm.
like 800 also, it is valid. 1000 also, it is a valid.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the valid test cases. If
No, no, I'm not interested in
like
test
something
cases.
like,
I'm not interested in test cases. I want to know what is the difference between equivalence partition and boundary value analysis.
Yeah, that's what I know. Like equivalence partitioning is like whether it is valid and invalid.
So,
I think boundary value analysis most of the time maybe see I will do with means something like a value like means
mm-hmm,
some number.
mm-hmm,
But equivalence partitioning like you don't need to have like a number. It is like we are testing for a particular scenario. I can say, see, whenever I'm like mm, um, doing a login password, like valid password, it doesn't need to be a number. So I'm like valid password and invalid password. Though that is
okay.
equivalence
So,
partitioning.
I
But
give you a requirement saying that whenever a person is opening an account, his balance should be $100 to $1,000. Okay.
okay, balance should be 100 to 1000. Okay.
Okay. So, do you mean to say I can use only boundary value analysis for testing this requirement? I cannot use equivalence partition for this.
In boundary value analysis itself, you will get both negative and positive test cases. So that will be included. But only boundary value analysis you cannot do means like some name or some password or something. You cannot say, okay, this is up to this level or up to means like mm,
So
uh,
whenever we are dealing with numbers, I can draw a thumb rule that I can use boundary value analysis, but if it's not numbers, I can go with equivalence, right?
no, it's not like that. See, that is included in this, but this is not included in the equivalence partitioning.
Okay, fine.
Means this is like, see, boundary value is like most of the time like it's for every value we are doing means, but what we are doing is like we are uh, going to the some upper limit and the lower limit, below the lower limit.
Mm-hmm.
Then equivalence partitioning is like we are doing for more like yeah, it's like more of like scenarios or domains or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how many defects you logged?
In my last project, I think I did 50 to 60. I think, yeah.
Okay. How many test cases you executed so far?
So far, many are there, but in my last project, I think I did somewhere around 700 to
Okay.
800. I think in between. Yeah.
What did you feel like as the biggest challenge in your experience?
Actually, it was not challenge. It's like I enjoyed also because in the last project, like when they were changing the requirements frequently,
Mm-hmm.
then there was a defect. Like we found out actually it is like it actually when we were testing, it's not looking like a defect, but then we found out like. They have like a web page and means they have to write all the doctors' names and all those things whenever they are doing surgery data and all those things. So what happened was like we did everything is going on very well. Then, but when we did the last testing, suddenly like almost their names are not able to like we are not able to see their names.
Mm-hmm.
Only the page is available and there all the other information is there.
Mm-hmm.
So that time. So we find like we open it's like a defect and everything. Developer is saying it is the coding is correct and everything. So then again and again we like struggling, and but what happened is like when we did like a small it's like a small mistake, like we didn't actually keep the information. We found out, then we fixed it. Then that was really challenging. At the same time
That
it
is a
was very
defect,
good.
right? So whatever you
Yeah.
were expecting, does not show up. So that's a defect, right?
That's a defect, but what happened is like in the means in the beginning, like they developed the page and everything. That time, like it was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, like some in the middle of the thing, somehow like we missed it. We were doing means like testing for every other in the same page. They have so many tables, boxes, so each and everything they are testing. So we didn't concentrate on that, and then we thought like everything was okay. Then we found out.
Okay.
So and that's like for that page, that's most important requirement.
Okay.
So we found out and fixed everything. So it was a very good ending. So it was good.
Okay. Fine, Satya. So I'm done with my first half. So we'll go ahead with whatever we have discussed. I wanted to go further, but in the interest of time, so I'm confining my questions. Let me share the screen. Jyoti, you have a question?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I saw your hand raised. You wanted to ask something?
No, that's fine right now, Praveen.
Okay.
Before it, no screen visible. That's
Fine, fine. So no, I wanted to type in, so that's the reason I did not share. Okay. Fine.
okay.
Let me
Okay,
go
thank
over with Satya. Okay. Yeah, Satya. So let us go over. So as you know, right, whatever I have asked, I have marked it here, and then whatever is in green, it's something like pass, and whatever is in red is something like fail, and the intensity front. Bold means more the intensity. So whether it's good or bad. Okay. You are with me?
Yes,
Satya, okay, fine.
I really am feeling this is the most utter
Whatever.
slap mark.
Why are you feeling so? Don't feel like that. Fine. Your introduction was good, but it's not a rich one. Okay. So I still don't get the connect. It was like a bit lazy, and I really it can be presented much better way. Okay. So it should give you an impression like what exactly you are and what you were doing in your previous project, and then some good story. Okay. So I believe you can improvise on that.
But
Okay.
yeah, yes.
There are many things to polish it. Okay. I believe you started itself with a backtracking kind of thing, saying like I started ago 5.5 years ago. I started. Okay. Right. That is something you are trying to convey, that you have 5.5 years experience, right? I can say the same thing
Yes.
in a different way, saying that rather than taking me to 5.5 years back and telling that this is my experience, you can say I have got total of 5.5 years of experience. This is a different way. Okay. So again, it's
Because
all
see,
about
like
words.
I don't know, like I'm hearing every time, is that looks good? Like I have 6 years of experience or 5 years of experience.
Yeah, that is a
I don't know.
pretty decent or normal response. Rather than saying that I 5.5 years ago I started my career like that. That again, I leave it to you, but still that is very cosmetic. But other things more onto your time that you have spent in your 5.5 years, like which all projects, which all types of testing, and then you can talk about domains, as I say, right? So and which all clients. So those all things were missing, right? Which client you have been working. Company name you need not tell. Okay, nobody asked you to tell. but you can pretty much talk about the clients for which you have worked upon, right? At least the names. Okay.
Means like what? Like
No,
my recent project is in Altabet, so I have to say Altabet Research Center.
right. I am not having visibility to your resume right now, but whatever your resume says, maybe one of your project is for Walmart, one of your project is for Bank of America, and one is for say suppose Cisco. Then you can pretty much list them, right? During this past 5.5 years,
Oh,
I have worked for Walmart project and then so and so, because just in case, okay, yeah, if you in your resume if you have banking project, okay, and now you are going for a Citibank project, okay, that will make an edge for you, right?
mm-hmm.
So and again it should be a bit organized. See, whatever you are talking in your introduction, it should be a snapshot of your experience. Okay, so
Okay.
what words will fill in to meet this objective is I leave it to you. Okay,
Okay.
so
Yeah,
maybe if
actually
you
I have
want to
to
talk for
prepare that.
3 to 4 minutes, say suppose for your introduction, then that 3 to 4 minutes should be something like the juice of your 5 years experience, what you are trying to claim. Okay,
Okay.
so try to talk about high level things. Definitely you try to talk about SOAP UI, web based everything, but I believe it's still not 100%. Okay,
Okay.
that is one thing. Then web services, I don't think SOAP UI has 1.5, something like 3.0 I
1.2.
believe. I really don't have.
No, no, 1 point.
Okay, at least I did not see. Maybe if it is there, that's fine. Check on this. Okay.
Okay.
Then
Yeah, 1.2.
okay. And I see like is a filler for you. Okay. So you use like a lot. You like a lot, I guess. So try to avoid that. Okay. I mean,
Yes.
it's again more onto your language rather than nothing to do with fundamentals, but try to cut short
Okay.
a little bit. My screen is blank.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Anuradha has a question. Client means companies only, right? No, not required. See, if you are working for an Infosys is a company. Infosys is a company, and Infosys has many clients, so like Bank of America, Citibank, or something. So always client and company cannot be the same. Say if you are working for Kaiser, and if you are a direct employee, your client and company are both same. Okay. So again, most of your resumes are going to be related to a vendor employer model. So rather than talking about your vendor who is more on the company side, you can talk about the client side. Client is nothing but like Walmart or exact project related thing. Okay, always client will be a client. Okay, and there is a scenario that client can become a company where when you are working as a direct employer. Okay, otherwise he might be a vendor or an employer. So that clarifies, Anuradha, I believe. Okay, Jyoti Kandula says SOPI latest is 4.5.1. Okay, that's fine as long as I don't want you to say the latest one, but as long as it's a valid version, I'm fine. If 1.5 is a valid version, then go ahead and tell that. But at least I did not see anything on 1.5, so I wanted you to check. Okay, Satya, you get it?
SOAP and SOAP both are versions actually are there.
Okay, just check on the version. Okay. Then
Yeah.
Vistal web services descriptive language and all this is fine. I just mentioned the definition here. Then SOAP and SOA are different. Okay, it's not like if we have SOA, then it's so service oriented architecture is and just P appended to that. Nothing like that. SOAP has its own
Like,
definition. SOA has its own definition. Okay.
okay. Yeah.
Okay, just check on it. There is a slim line between this. Of course, both are related to web services, but just get away out of the impression that SOA is nothing but SOAP. Okay, both have their own scope, different scope. So it's best. It's just XML based protocol. Okay, where we can transfer data between the systems. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and then web service testing, I'm not convinced with the flow. Okay, even I'm not more expertise onto web service testing, but try to check with again some other resource and try to talk more technically on the flow. Okay, so I understand you were trying, you
Which
were
one?
definitely
Like,
making an attempt
web-
on web service testing, right? So when I
no,
want
you want.
to no, what I'm trying to say is the flow related to your web service testing. What exactly you have done in web service testing, and then what you did with Sophia and all, right? I definitely understand that you are trying to make an attempt and address that questions, but I'm not convinced with the flow.
Oh, okay. But those are the steps, like how we create the test suite, test cases, and all those things.
Right,
Means
right.
like
So
you want me to tell like elaborately. I just gave like
no, you
create
will
new
definitely have a,
widget.
you will definitely, yeah, you are going directly onto the ground level things. Okay, and I definitely
Mm-hmm.
understand that you have knowledge on that, and that's the reason you're talking. But even before going into Vistal and all these things, I mean the ground level things, try to talk about the flow level
Mm-hmm.
kind of things. Okay, where from the request is coming, and then what is the how the data flows in your web service testing. Try to talk about the flow level things first, and then go into your assertion and whatever you wanted to do on the thing on the ground, because assertion and all you give it in within the SOAP after creating a test suite and all, right? So this is
Yes.
more detailed thing. Okay, I definitely appreciate that you know the details, but that will make sense
Mm-hmm.
one if you have told the flow a bit first and then deep dived into the details. Okay.
Oh, you mean to say like I have to like create the data source, then like that?
Not exactly onto the implementation. So what is a web service? You pretty much have a flow, right? If at all talk about a defect life cycle, okay. So you have a flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Status will be from new to
Okay.
open, then open to fixed, and then fixed into fixed to reopen or closed, like that. So this is a
Mm-hmm.
flow, right? So like that for web
Okay.
service testing also you'll have a flow, like where from the data is originating, and then where from it is meeting back to the server. So try to get a flow
Mm.
for that. Okay, and then talk about
Okay.
that flow,
Okay.
and then try to talk about the implementation in SOAP. So because whatever you were saying is more on the implementation side, right?
Okay.
I mean, how you
Okay.
are really doing the web service testing, right? So definitely that makes sense, but the context is going to make value add to you if you talk about the flow first and then getting into the detail. Okay,
Okay.
web service, and then just check on the abbreviations. Okay, whatever abbreviations you are using, not just for REST, anything that you use, there is a high possibility that people might ask what it stands for. Okay, with or without their knowledge, because there are two aspects. People might be aware of this REST, and they might ask to ensure that whether you have really worked on it. Other people might not be knowing what that abbreviation is, and they wanted to know out of curiosity. Okay, so both the cases, as long as if you are able to tell the abbreviation, then it makes connect on what you have said earlier. Okay, so
Mm.
any abbreviation you are using, I would recommend that you know at least know the abbreviation. Okay, expanded form of abbreviation. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
so I'm not a champ on web service, so I would not like to go and draw a line between REST and SOAPIA and all. So, but I would ask you to go further and see. I definitely understand REST is fast and it's lightweight compared to SOAPIA, but there are more differences you can list. Okay, so this is what I
Okay.
was referring. Okay. Then let us go back. QC key features, you are good. Test plan, test lab and all. Then deliverables in previous projects. I'm not sure what did I do with this. Okay, I will pass for this. Then usability testing. These are all catchy words. Okay, it's good to tell all these things like a story. I have done this. But if there is a follow-up question on this, then you are blank, right? Hmm.
Yes, like so many types, like I was
Yeah,
going through, and really, in the end, I felt like I don't know anything about testing.
yeah,
That is
and
my
yeah, and just
state of mind
sorry.
now, actually.
Jyoti, I see you typing a lot of things, and I appreciate that. Few things I already marked it like rest and all, so you can just check on this. Hmm, that's fine. Then going back to this thing, right? So usability testing, reliability testing, if you are using this, because you never know, that project might be having more scope for usability testing, okay? And if you are trying to claim that you are aware of this, then there is a high potential that window is open for more testing, more questions on that particular area, right?
Okay.
So check on these definitions. Usability testing is
Yes.
more onto how the user is able to meet his business needs by the workflow defined. Okay, so
Yes.
I really don't know what is the textbook definition for this, but the main objective of usability testing is, say, like I'll just give you an example. Okay, so if at all
Mm-hmm.
user is the client is Bank of America, say suppose. Okay, once a user logs into Bank of America, and there are a lot of functions within Bank of America, like accounts and transfers, like lot many tabs, right? So transfers tab is intended to make fund transfer from one account to other account. Okay, so that is a
Okay.
requirement. Okay, and when you are testing this, you try to uh, go to transfers menu and then try to select the from, and then try to select the to, and then click on and send transfer, and the money is to be transferred, right? This is the objective of client. Okay, but the developer has developed this, but to do a fund transfer, it's very painful. Say suppose under transfers menu, user is asked to enter from details, from first name, last name, and then lot many details, and then the navigation is not that simple, it's very challenging. Okay, ease of access is very tough, and then after doing so many
Yes.
actions, then if he clicks on send transfer, then the funds are transferred. In both the cases, funds are being transferred and objective is met, but here the ease of access is very tough in the second case, right? So these all
Mm-hmm.
kinds of things can be tested using usability testing. Whether the user is, whether the application is very user friendly and easy to access, those kind of things will be tested. Okay.
Yes.
So anyway, just check on the textbook definitions and try to rephrase the same in your own words. Okay. Reliability testing. Okay. See, reliability again, it's more nothing big here. You know how I mean, you know the
How far it is reliable?
general meaning of reliable, right?
Yeah.
So if you are
Yes.
validating something now, it is behaving correctly, say like account balance or something.
But
And if you are
see,
validating
like
the same again after a defined interval of time, maybe after 1 day or 2 day, still it should behave correctly.
it has.
Okay. So then that is called reliable behavior, right? Because
Yes.
if you execute all 1,000 test cases today and everything is passed, tomorrow it's deployed, and if it's not working, then it's not at all a reliable product, right? And your testing is at stake, right? So that is more onto
Yes.
reliability testing. Anyway, check on the definitions, okay? Yeah, anyway, and I see a lot of things. Usability determines how the app is useful, findable, accessible, usable, desirable, right? So most of the things I told are in line to this. And Vijaya says easy to use, easy to access the application, and how user friendly it is. Yeah, as I said, and then look and feel, and yeah, look and feel also, right? So anyway, so that is what I am trying to say. So any catchy word that you are trying to use, make sure that you are aware of that. Okay. See, if you are trying to claim a champ of all these things, and when there is a question on that you are not able to justify, means you are just trying to fake me, right?
Yes.
So just check on that. Then soap, rest, and all differences I said. Then what happens when you log a defect? So defect life cycle is what I wanted to know. And when I wanted to check whether you have really logged a defect, I wanted to know what are the possible defect status. Okay, new, assigned, fixed,
Mm-hmm.
reopen, closed. Okay, there is no defect status called could not reproduce, and there is no defect status called with invalid. Okay. So
Really? But when I read it's there like could not reproduce and invalid also in the defect life cycle.
those are the reasons for withdrawing.
So when I give you a defect, but they can say it is means if there is like duplicate, so or if it is not this thing, so
Okay.
it's an invalid
Okay.
defect.
Okay.
And if I'm not able
So
to like I give the defect, but the
definitely.
developer says not, then if I am unable to reproduce, it could not reproduce. So that's also one status, right?
Okay, so testing is vast and a lot of people have their own theories and they put their own flow diagrams and their own flow charts. Okay, so I definitely understand you might have seen this thing in one of the flow and you are trying to claim that, right?
Yes.
Correct. Okay, now the challenge is, okay, good that you have
Yes.
seen all these things somewhere in internet and you are telling, but now you say you are using quality center. Okay, so as long as whatever you are saying, if it's there in quality center, then I am okay. So you are saying that I have used quality center and these are the defect status. So I'm missing some connect here. In when I look into quality center, I don't see new. I don't see. I mean, I see new, assigned, fixed, reopen, closed, but I don't see could not reproduce and invalid. These are possible status if people are using an Excel document to do their defect management or test management, because everybody has their own English like kind of language. They can use their own English words. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
to make sure what you are trying to claim, that if you have said quality center, then make sure your responses are in line to quality center, right?
Oh, okay.
Get it?
I got it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Okay, if you have said that I have been using Excel document for all my testing process for my test cases and defects, then
Mm-hmm.
whatever list items you say, I'll put everything in green. I am least bothered.
Oh, okay.
Get it?
Yes.
Because I mean, again, these are all tricky things, because the other person might be a QC administrator or a QC, because the one who is interviewing might be, you never know, right, who he is, right? He will definitely have in and out. If he is a QC administrator, he'll have an in and out of entries of quality center. So that's the reason,
Oh,
if you are trying to say you have used QC, then make sure your responses are in line to QC.
okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
and then I just talked about a case where a developer is saying it's an invalid defect. Okay, there are two possible outcomes
Mm-hmm.
for that. One is you are able to reproduce it and then you are reopening this defect. So this is correct status. Second case is you are not able to reproduce and you are closing that defect. So that is not a correct status. You will withdraw that defect. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So if you are closing that defect, then what is the difference between a defect that has been actually fixed and which was not fixed? Both will be in closed status, right?
Okay.
So
That's okay. So one and one is fixed.
right, withdrawn and uh,
And the one is fixed. And
reopened,
fixed and closed.
right? So then we talked about defects tab. This is good. Severity, priority, okay. Yeah, this sticky notes and board and all, I understand this is more of agile theoretical background. Very rarely people use sticky notes in the project.
Praveen, no, actually, I like I went through like many this agile methodologies. Then I asked also some people, because whenever I'm seeing that they do the requirements on sticky notes, actually last week I asked Shilpi also, is it really they do like this or is it just for the sake of theory? Then she said, no, it's correct. They write on the sticky notes and they'll put on the board and they will collect the requirements from there.
Okay, so
I asked
this is
another friend also, then she said, yes, that's true.
okay, fine. So
That's why I told you.
people still use sticky notes. I don't deny that. Okay, but it's not more onto the requirements. Okay, So it is something like, okay, we have assembled like 10 people, and then task for that 10 people might be written on the sticky notes, and then that is where, because requirements is huge. Maybe for a banking application you cannot put that requirement on a paper and then on a sticky note and put it, right? So here my question was very specific. I was talking about requirements. It's not about task.
Requirements
And
on
then
the note.
I doubt people are still using sticky notes for requirements. You know sticky
What
notes, right?
can I?
You know postfix, right?
No, yeah, the post-its on.
So
Yeah.
how
Even
much
I
data
saw them
you?
like in the
Yeah, that is more onto
small,
the
small.
task and task level thing. Like, okay, Satya test design for user story 0101001 user story 1002. That level of data I have seen. Okay, but not like what requirement is, because how much data you can put on a postfix? You cannot put your total requirement in your postfix, right?
Yeah, even I got a doubt. Like then I asked Shilpi, she said, yes, that is true. She said.
Okay. Anyway, even I might be wrong. Okay, so just check on this. Okay.
Yeah, I'll check on that. Yes.
So, but as per my knowledge, requirements are still dealt with user stories, and that too from Rally Day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sticky notes is something like it was working earlier. Like initially, people started using that. Even now, they are using it, but the context where they are now using is more onto the task assignment, not onto the requirement.
Okay.
Okay. And for development team, it holds good, like write this code or write this logic or something like that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
requirements are maintained in Rally Dev, not Rational Dev. Then product
This
backlog,
is National Day.
Rally Dev, not
Valid. Yeah.
okay. Your requirements
Okay.
are
Yeah.
nothing but user stories, product backlog. Okay, so here basically all your requirements are maintained in a repository kind of thing or backlog, and requirements move back in and out of this backlog. So they move on to a sprint, and
Yes.
if they are met or they are accomplished in that sprint, they sit there, or else they come back to the backlog and they'll be moved into the another sprint. So those level of details you can talk about product backlog.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What is this spike? Spike is
Spike.
maybe
Spike
nothing
is
but
something like
sudden
a
rise in
blocker.
strict.
Right. So say if you are planning for 10 user stories in one particular iteration or a sprint, okay, and
Mm-hmm.
say maybe one particular user story is blocked, or it's completely not available for you to test or something like, okay, this particular thing has
Mm-hmm.
a dependency for all other remaining user stories. So in other way, all the remaining 9 user stories are dependent on this. So this particular a spike can be raised on against this user story, saying that this is a blocker for the
Okay.
remaining user stories. So when
Okay.
there are unanticipated things like, okay, the code is not deployed or something, environment is not ready, then they raise a spike. It's something like a defect, but an operational front. You
Mm-hmm.
get it?
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Spike means you see sudden rise, right? Something suddenly went up and it's completely blocking you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then have you ever used database 7 upon 10? That's fine. Then correlated subquery, fine, but just checked on a polished definition for that. Then difference between self join and a
Even
join. Then what is that, Satya?
subquery is like so correlated subquery means like is it that a query inside query, right?
Yeah, query inside query, but it has its own purpose. Okay, so we'll run the inner
Like
query
the
more number of times. Okay,
the outer query will be like
outer query will be executed only
will
once based on the single
step
once it's exited from the inner loop. Okay,
inner. Yeah.
so You just said
The first the
query
inner one,
within,
then out.
yeah, you just said query within a query. So that is normal subquery, right? So correlated subquery has a even more functionality or anticipated behavior. It has a much bigger scope compared to normal subquery, right? So that's the reason I just wanted you
Okay.
to refine or check your correlated subquery definition again. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Difference between self join, inner join. Okay. Then ATM and all. This one, okay, you are good, but you are sounding like it's very theoretical. So y- as if someone has told you to tell this, you are saying this. Okay, when you give this requirement, first I'll come back to you and check with you what is this requirement all. So this is all sounding a bit theoretical. Okay, so I believe I have told this to do. I
Some
mean, you all
taking
to
the
do this,
right.
but it can be told in a different way, Satya. You can say whenever a requirement is given to me, what I will try to do is I will try to check with you, what exactly the
Oh,
requirement is
okay,
about.
okay,
Okay,
okay. I got it now.
so it's more a bit theoretical. So just try to check on that. Then boundary value analysis and ECP. Okay. So I don't go
Yeah,
to
what
this
is this
textbook
really?
definitions thing. Okay, boundary value analysis
Not
and
textbook definition. I understood. I'm like trying to tell you, but you are going again and again and again.
no, you were just
Really, I
trying to
didn't
make
get it.
some statements, and those statements, as long as they are valid, then I'm fine. But if they are not valid, then I'll try to give provocative questions and see what exactly you are trying to convey. So ECP is equivalence
So
partition.
what is exactly the difference?
Okay, so I'll go there. See, boundary, there's no thumb rule like for boundary value analysis we use digits, and ECP we do it only for scenarios. Nothing like that. Whenever there are numbers, we can use both. Okay, so
Okay.
boundary value is validation at the boundary. Okay, something if you say 1000, then how the system is behaving for 999, how the system is behaving with 1000, how the system is behaving with 1001. And when I say at the boundary, I am testing both valid and invalid. Okay, first I'll try to
Okay.
talk about boundary value analysis, then I'll try to talk about equivalence partition. Okay, then we'll see what is the difference. Okay, so in boundary value analysis
Okay.
I am testing valid data, invalid data. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay, in equivalence partition. Okay, uh, and
Mm-hmm.
if I go to the same example, $0 to $1,000, then I partition this test data into different sets. Anything below 0 as one partition, anything between 0 to 1000 as one partition, and anything between 1000 to more than 1000 or 1000 above as another partition. Okay, first I have created partitions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, from these partitions I am pick choosing one data, assuming that that data represents that partition. Okay, let me put it in example. So partition 1 is less than 0, partition 2 is 0 to 1000, partition 3 is 1000 to above. Okay, let us look at partition 2. Okay, in partition 2 I have
Mm-hmm.
data from 0 to 1000, so I pick choose one data, maybe something like midpoint, maybe 500. Okay, when I am testing this
Mm-hmm.
data for 500, I am thinking that this 500 is representing that data of partition 2. Any value between 0 to 1000 will behave the same as if for the same behavior. I mean, whatever behavior I get for 500, I am assuming that the same behavior will hold good for 0 to 1000. So this is the context, this is the concept behind equivalence partitioning. So I use a representative data. 500 is representing this total numbers between 0 to 1000. Okay,
Okay.
if I am pick choosing 1001 or 1002, 1002 is a representative data of me representing any data in the partition 3. Okay, so in
Okay.
equivalence partition, I'm using representative data and trying to test the system behavior. In boundary value analysis, I'm using specific data at the boundaries and see how the system is behaving. You get it?
So, okay. Yeah.
In both the cases, the main objective is I cannot test this particular thing for 1,000 numbers, because the client requirement is 0 to 1,000. Then any number is there, it should work fine. But nobody can do comprehensive testing or 100%. I mean, for each and every data, nobody can test. If it is 1,000, maybe we can make an attempt. But if it's 10,000, we cannot do, right? It takes a lot of time, right? So you need to have test case for each data. So nobody does that. But to ensure that system is behaving correctly, we use such techniques. And you understand, right? We are just trying to test it in an organized way by using these techniques. So boundary value analysis is specific to the data at the boundaries itself. Okay. And equivalence
Okay.
partition is for the representative data.
Okay.
Okay. So whenever there is any requirement related to 0 to 1,000, people use both the techniques. Okay. It's not like people just use boundary value analysis and then sign off. People use boundary value analysis to see how the system is behaving at the boundaries, and also use equivalence partition and write test cases for that also, and see how the system is behaving for this, so that it will ensure that most of the possible scenarios or possible kind of data is touched and tested.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many defects you log so far? Test cases is all fine. Then challenging. Oh my god. So this is a spoil spot. Okay, you said
Really?
right. So you said yes, for some reason the defect was missing, and later on you found that, and it was very important, and then you felt happy because it was identified, and then it was met, right? So you were not
Yes.
doing your job right beforehand.
It's like we can say like there is one more defect. Like what is that?
No, no, no. Everybody is paying
We
you
can,
for a tester to find defects. Okay, if it was a developer, then it's a different story. If he is missing one defect or so, a different story. Okay, we are here to find defects. Okay, and now you say like I did not find a defect for in upfront, and then later on I found that defect, and I got a pattern back. Something wrong. Okay, so this is not a good example, I would try to say. See, just try to understand from the client front. So what I understand is, if I give a project to Satya, I can at least say for sure that second time she will be finding the defect. First time I doubt, but second time she can find. Is it a right statement? Is it
I
making you
think I
happy?
should have said when we are doing this, I found this defect. I think I should have said like that.
Right. So again, maybe you'll have to rebuild your story, and adding masala to this. You said that defect which you got missed initially was very important. So how can you miss an important defect in your
Yeah, I
first
should
friend?
say like I found out the defect, and that was very important. So we fixed it. Maybe I should have
Right.
told like that.
So that was
Okay.
not a good story, and then again defect related and all, that's fine. Try to talk more on the process front. Okay. So if something is not
Okay.
working, that is definitely a defect, and your daily routine is taking care of that. So challenge and all, when I refer here, is more onto process. Okay. So
Okay.
what was
Yeah.
not working as per the process, and then how you came up and then try to found a solution for that process. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
this will be more process oriented. Okay,
Okay.
so just check on this. So that's all I have, I think. So I know we have been running a bit late. Not a bit, I mean, I think close to 30% of the time, I guess. Okay, so that's all I have, Satya. So you have any specific question?
Mm, No, I don't have anything specific. I think I have to like
One thing I would say is,
go
if you
through
are,
everything.
I believe instead of going for QTP, you are going for web service, but try to be more strong on web service, whatever you are trying to claim, because that is a potential area for a lot of questions to open up. Okay. So if you are not trying to
Okay.
claim on automation, I mean QTP, then web services, there are n number of things that can be asked. Okay.
Okay.
What is a
No,
groovy?
I said
What
like
is a
in the
groovy framework, and then
recent,
groovy script? A lot many things are there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You are aware of
No,
groovy
recent
script?
project web services, but previous one I said QTP, right?
Oh, okay. Not sure that came in well, I think. Yeah, you said manual and automation, this thing.
QTP, but recent project we are doing web services, so we using SOAP and all those. I said.
Yeah, yeah. Even if it's a recent project, or if you are claiming, see, if your recent project means that it itself implies that you that is fresh in your blood, and that is where you are champ. Okay. So even taking that thing into consideration, there is a possibility of many questions coming there.
Okay, okay,
Okay. So whatever
okay.
be your comfort area, try to put that in your recent project. Okay.
Oh, yes.
If you don't have control on that, then make yourself comfortable on the recent project. That is other way.
Okay.
Get it? Fine then.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyone else have any question? Okay. Not sure if I answered most of the questions here, but if something is missing in this chat, I'll try to take it up in a later point of time. Fine then. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Praveen.
Okay then. Yeah.
So when you are sending this, maybe you can like send me like maybe what are some other areas like where I should improve more or something like that.
Yeah, this will act as a guide. So whatever I have marked in red is by default where you need to check, or do some
Mm-hmm.
homework. And this web
Okay.
services, right? I'm just telling it in general. I mean, it's whatever you try to respond, it's fine. I'm not marking it as red, but again, it's a general
Mm-hmm.
recommendation that I'm trying to tell. Check on web services
Mm-hmm.
a lot more. Okay.
Okay. Yes. I'll do it.
Yeah. Okay, then that's all I have. Thanks a lot to each one of you. Thanks for your time. Then take care. Have a good night.
Thank you, Praveen. Thanks for your time actually.
No problem. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.